Welcome back to the Unfortunate Diehards podcast. Hashtag number 34.
Austin Matthews.
I was just going to leave it and then continue. My name is Evan. I'm a Sens fan. Welcome back to the podcast. Thanks for tuning in, guys. To my right,
Sufjan, Caps fan.
And further to my right,
Omar, Leafs fan.
And if you're watching on YouTube, you may not realize this if you're on another platform. There is still someone to my left.
Hello.
It is Elliot Coleman, special guest today on the podcast. Elliot, how are you?
Not bad. Yourself? Thanks for having me.
I'm good. Elliot is a friend of ours. He plays on our hockey teams, and he is a big Sens fan, as am I. And I hope to clap back to some of your comments with two of us here.
This is
combat.
Yeah,
as they would say.
Let's see what he has limited knowledge due to his lack of age, but
and you have expansive knowledge.
Welcome to the pod, Elliot.
Thank you.
Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Big hockey fan. Started playing when I was around 5 years old. Played up until my grade 11 year of school. And then just started playing again after about a 5-year hiatus. And love the Senators as always. And I'm just excited to be able to share my hockey knowledge here.
All right. What are some of your favorite topics at the moment?
Well, obviously the Stanley Cup final just ended. I would say I was rooting for Florida a bit more. I would also say that the awards are tonight too. That is true. And there's been a bunch of rumors that have been spreading around with trades, as well as the trades that have happened in the past couple days have been very exciting as well.
All right.
Why don't we start off with the finals?
Yeah, Elliot's taking my job. Let's talk about the finals, shall we? Vegas and Florida ended the night we last recorded our podcast. Kind of saw it coming with how pretty much all the games were going. Vegas did win. A lot of players getting their first cup. A few guys repeats, being Kessel, Pietrangelo, Quick. But it was really cool seeing that kind of, young franchise who's had tons of moves over the past few years, whether that's coaching, players, end up pulling it off.
It was the most boring final ever.
Sufi has been very vocal about his hatred for the final this year.
Sufi's a very vocally hatred-y person.
What are your opinions on that, or on like the young franchise thing? Because at least with me, I think it would have been better if they at least went through like a rebuilding phase, which they never did.
Nope.
Like they made the cup final in their first year, and it just like that's what being almost like a franchise is about, is getting your team and then sucking for a few years and then being able to build it up to.
Do you think if Vegas sucked, like let's say they have another like 3 or 4 years where they're pretty good, when they suck, do you think a lot of people won't go to games because they are so used to them just being good?
Yes.
I don't even think it's that. I don't even think it's because they'll be used to them being good. I don't know if a losing team can be successful at any point in Vegas. I think they have to be good from the get-go.
So is this a conspiracy?
That Vegas is rigged.
I think
the thing is though, I'm sorry, there has been a lot of talk of like GMs just making really dumb decisions during the expansion draft, which led to this. So the trades that they made after obviously is more they're doing, but like letting Marchessault go and letting Riley Smith go were both Florida's fault at the time. And then like some other players that they got from that as well, Shea Theodore, etc. Like those are just mistakes by GMs that they let get away. Like in the Seattle expansion draft, Toronto made a big mistake too with letting trading for Jared McCann and then not protecting him and keeping Kerfoot instead. Like the thing is, like
I thought they didn't even. It was
they didn't protect either.
Yeah,
but they knew that like they're going to take one of those two. Seattle chose by far the right option.
Well,
it was fairly obvious at the time.
Crawford could be a 40-goal scorer in another
Yeah.
in our league, sure.
Yeah. Yes. But the thing is, like, it wasn't just the one GM making a mistake for that one. There was like a ton of like things that could have went wrong for Vegas with the expansion draft, and they just seemed to go right. So they did handle it pretty well. So it's more kudos to them than anything else.
Yeah.
The thing is, I don't know how they've made a lot of like randomly concerning trades as well. Like it's been weird with like asset management and stuff like that. Like trading Suzuki for Pacioretty and then Pacioretty essentially leaving for nothing. Like there's a lot of like things that like a lot of dead ends for Vegas that didn't really affect them in a negative way per se. Like even Fleury, they traded for nothing. So it's kind of interesting to see that they've lasted this long already. And like there's no real signs of them slowing down now too, because their division is pretty light.
I have the opinion that they made the right moves when they needed to make those moves over the years.
They signed the right guys.
They signed the right guys, and they addressed every position they needed to address. They didn't stick around a coach if they didn't like him, no matter what the caliber of the coach is. It's like, they went through 3 coaches now.
Yeah.
Bruce Cassidy. They got Pietrangelo. They traded for Mark Stone. They addressed every need they needed.
Eichel.
They got Eichel. Like they did in every position you could have thought, hey, they could use that, and they went on and got it. There you go.
Even goaltending, bro. They just got as much depth as possible. They signed their starting goalie. He gets hurt, and they just like get 18 more goalies, and one of them worked out. So
like they did well in their.
The thing with them too, they did kind of what Seattle did too in the expansion draft, where they just drafted like a ton of mid-tier defensemen, and then like one better young defenseman, like for like comparable to Theodore for Seattle would be like Vince Dunn, but they also just have like a ton. They had like a ton of veteran defensemen to start off, and now they added to that, but they already had like a good core of 6 defensemen to go with it. So they definitely built from like the net out rather than just like loading up on forwards and then going that way, which I think Seattle has kind of done similarly as well. That's why they have like a team full of second line wingers and centers. Yeah.
What do you think, Evan?
I think Martin Jones is my favorite second line center.
Got a lot of French
But
players too, actually.
speaking of I just think the finals was too one-sided.
Yeah, it was a boring final.
It just like I think Vegas was way too deep for Florida to take, like 4-line as deep as they were. I just don't think.
I also think it didn't help how like Florida played so little games, and then they had such a long rest that like
there was like a week, right? Between
I thought they had like a week and a half.
I did say someone.
Carolina, right?
I did say to someone that if they sweep Carolina, then whoever wins the conference final wins the trophy. I don't know who I said that to. I said it to one of you, I think, but
not me.
No one can back it up, so I'm kind of just
because I think maybe by the time they finish with Carolina, you're in such a routine that like if you get hurt or something and then it's just sitting there for like a week.
Yeah, that team wasn't good enough to not have like every single thing go right for them to get to that point, right? So when that ran out, that's where a team like Vegas just runs over them. Because they had a bunch of teams that could have ran over them, but everything was going right for them at the time. And Bobrovsky was playing out of his mind. And then the switch happened. They got steamrolled. A 9-3 last game to win the cup final. They were celebrating 6 seconds before the game even ended.
Yeah.
That's how boring it was.
Funny. Yeah. I noticed that. The puck went down the zone or something, and then they just they all came out.
Imagine
like,
they called
too many men, like whatever.
Imagine they called too many men.
That'll just be like more of an insult to Florida.
Just stay on the ice.
Yeah. But yeah, that's a wrap on the 23 NHL season.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was a wild one.
Think they can repeat next year?
No, I don't think so. I mean, I guess anything's possible.
It's hard to repeat in NHL.
It's hard to repeat.
Yeah. Like it's hard to even predict. Like honestly, it's hard to predict what the finals is going to be every year. That's why it's so different every year, man. Minus COVID years when Tampa was just running through everyone.
Yeah. Well, gents, we are recorded on another prevalent NHL day because there is NHL awards this evening. I am going to tell you all the trophy nominees, and you guys have to tell me who you think deserves to win the award.
Are we saying deserves or who we think is going to win?
You can bring that up when I say it.
And is it just of like the 3 guys?
If you really think that Ovechkin should have won the Hart,
I think Ovechkin should have won the Selke.
Okay.
The anti
If you
Didn't Kovalev win a couple of those?
you can bring up whatever you'd like at this point.
Okay.
So, first trophy is the Hart Trophy, given annually to the NHL player voted most valuable to his team by the Professional Hockey Writers Association. The nominees are Edmonton Oilers' Connor McDavid, Boston Bruins' David Pasternak, and Florida Panthers' Matthew Tkachuk. Omar, who do you think?
David.
Yeah,
I don't know if this is.
I think this is a one
Yeah,
where we
let's
can
not
just
harp on this.
cruise
too much, bro.
over. Like,
This was a battle for second from like the third month of the season. I think Kachuk finishes second in voting, and I think Pasternak finishes third.
I think Tkachuk wins it.
Do
Brady.
you think Matthew wins over Pasternak? Okay.
For me.
Wins second, which
It's
doesn't
like
get
It
anything.
doesn't make any get anything, but yeah.
It's gonna be like that for a while, I think, with McDavid. So
All right. Next up, I'm pretty sure that's a unanimous pick.
yeah,
The James Norris Memorial Trophy, given annually to the best defenseman in the NHL, as voted by the Professional Hockey Writers Association. The nominees are, I feel like I'm at the Grammys or
Grammys.
Oscars or something.
Or the NHL awards.
New York Rangers defenseman Adam Fox, San Jose Sharks defenseman Erik Karlsson, and Colorado Avalanche defenseman Cale Makar. Elliot, who do you think should win?
three all very good defensemen, but I think I'll go with Carlson on it. Just he looked like back in his prime, and I
A shit
think
team.
yeah, on a very difficult team to play with. You just look back to where normal Carlson self, with which San Jose traded for. However, it was 4 or 5 years too late, but I think it should be Carlson.
Sufi?
The best offensive defenseman trophy should go to Carlson. And it will go to Carlson. So it's not much of a discussion. I think the best defenseman in the league was Fox. I think Makar didn't play enough games regardless to be in this discussion.
I agree with that.
But the way this trophy is awarded, it's kind of hard to not give it to Carlson if you're going to look at history, minus Drew Doughty randomly. But yeah.
The year Roddy won was controversial because
The year that Carlson should have won, yeah. So
I mean, again, Carlson is the one to go.
I don't like those years where people won because they were like, oh, they're kind of due for one.
yeah, which I don't
Like-
even think Doughty was. Doughty was old.
Weber never won one, and he was one of the best defensemen over
Yeah.
like a decade.
And like the thing is, like for me, Fox this year, he was a better player than he was last year too. It's just like if a defenseman scores 100 points, they're not gonna lose this trophy. I don't think like ever.
You
So
can't. You can't.
yeah, so it doesn't matter like what you do on the defensive side.
Yeah,
it's just
like
too much
100
about it.
points. Only 6 defensemen have ever done that, and one of them is
Yeah.
named Erik Karlsson.
Yeah,
It
So-
should go to him.
yeah.
Future Ottawa Senator.
Do you guys know Zach Hyman finished tied for 24th in NHL scoring this year?
Yep. Do you know that was still like 90 something points?
It was 83.
83 points.
Yeah. He had 83, and he was tied with Malkin and Brady Tkachuk.
More than that.
Zach Hyman is as good as Brady Tkachuk.
And Evgeny Malkin.
Austin Matthews had 85.
Oh,
Yikes!
less than Jimmy Stu.
I put a sock on
We all know
backwards.
who's better.
Yeah, James. Next trophy. The Vezina Trophy. Goalies. Given annually to the goalie voted the best at his position by the NHL general managers.
This isn't as
I'd take
The nominees are Winnipeg Jets, Connor Hellebuck, New York Islanders, Ilya Sorokin, and Boston Bruins, Linus Ullmark. I'll start with the goalie.
If I had to vote for this thing, I would put Allmark at 4. And I would put 3 goalies ahead of him. Saros at 3, Hellebuck at 2, and Sorokin at 1. And that's all I'm going to say.
I would say I think out of that list, Sorokin is the best goalie out of the 3. I think you can't take away from Allmark's season, though, who only had single-digit losses.
1 win or 1 loss.
How many games did he play?
A good amount.
He played 49. 49. which is 15 less than Sorokin, like $1 million less than Hellebuck because he basically plays an 82-game season. Same with Saros. So I don't think this isn't like slight on Allmark because I've been higher on him before the season than anyone else. So
Than anyone else.
than most other people. Like I was
Than Linus Allmark.
because I wanted the Caps to get him when Buffalo was like on the outs with him. So it isn't like a slight on him. It's just Sorokin is the best goalie in the league, and he played like it this year, and it was the stats even match up to it. It's just you have to look at the team that Boston had as well. Like he didn't have as many. What are you doing?
I have a button on that I forgot about.
He didn't have as many like games that he had to steal for Boston, if any. So comparatively to that, Sorokin like got
Basically
the Islanders.
carried his team to the
He carried their team to the playoffs. And honestly, like it isn't that much different for Hellebuck either. And the reason I would have Saros at third out of those is because he wasn't able to get his team to the playoffs, unfortunately. But I just think that all three of those goalies were better goalies this year than Allmark was. I'm not going to do the whole if they switch teams thing because I don't like doing that. So I just think I hate that argument. But I will use a team against a player. I just won't say like, oh, this player will do better on this team. Like I don't care about that. It's just Boston had eight defensemen deep on their D-core that were like good NHL defensemen at bare minimum. So, and like it was just the best defensive team in the league by far in like the last like 10 years. So it's hard for me to quantify that for goaltending. So
where would you have Allmark in your like
Four.
goalie rankings
or for this past season 4?
In general though, because
I have him at like 7.
okay,
Yeah.
Sorokin for me. Yeah, I don't think Allmark deserves it with the less games played.
But let's be honest, he is going to win it.
I mean, he's gonna win it.
He is going to win it.
Okay, no, it's hard. I shouldn't say that.
I shouldn't say
I don't think Allmark doesn't deserve.
Yeah.
He deserves it.
It's
just there might be more deserving people out there for it.
Yes.
Well, yeah. I mean, those 4 goalies, I think, were above the next like batch of goalies by quite a bit.
Yeah, because regardless of how good the Bruins team was,
Can't believe you threw out the B word like that.
The Bruins.
Another batch.
Regardless of how good the Bruins were in the regular season, having 6 losses only in your out of 49 games is pretty good.
Yeah.
Not bad.
It's not bad at all. So I'll have to. He is deserving of it, even if the team in front of him did a lot of the work as well.
Yeah,
I agree. The Ted Lindsay Award, given annually to the most outstanding player in the NHL, as voted by fellow members of the NHL Players Association. From the San Jose Sharks, Erik Karlsson. From the Edmonton Oilers, Connor McDavid. And from the Boston Bruins, David Pasternak.
it's gonna be McDavid. It's voted by players, right? Like they're not gonna.
I'm going Erik Karlsson.
Me too.
Okay.
I mean, like we all know McDavid's going to win it, but if you really, but
he was outstanding.
Don't compare McDavid to himself.
No.
If you compare
a
100-point defenseman
to 158 point forward.
No, but think about it. Lots of people have had 150
It's still
points.
but it's still,
not at 6
still,
people have had 100
I'm saying
defenseman
Karlsson
points.
for outstanding. It's because no one expected it.
Yeah,
But that's what I'm saying. You guys are voting on the merit.
But
of that.
no one expected McDavid to put up 158.
153 points. Bro.
okay, if you would have
That's
gun
the
to your
point.
head last year and you were like,
But that's not a point
what's
of
more
this trophy.
likely? These two things.
Yeah.
You
That's
would have
not-
picked McDavid.
You would have picked Carlson.
But that's not the
No.
point. That's not.
No, I mean you would have.
No,
you
okay.
would have
That's
been
not
more
the point of
surprised
this
by
trophy.
Carlson.
Yeah.
It's not. But
This-
if you're saying that no one expected McDavid to hit 158, no one would have maybe guessed it at the beginning. But if you told me at the beginning of the season that McDavid's going to hit 150, I would be like, okay.
But that's not this trophy. This trophy is who's the most outstanding player.
Yeah.
Of this year, and it was McDavid. It's not
No,
Carlson.
but I'm not saying that I would put that Carlson deserves the award.
And it's
Still
voted by
is
the
McDavid.
players. It's voted by the players too. So they're going to pick the best player.
Yeah,
And it's
That's
McDavid.
and
Erik
it's
Karlsson.
McDavid.
This is not. I'm sorry. This is not me. Like
He's just doing this for the sake of argument.
No, he brought it up.
No, I brought it up for fun. This is not. I'm just saying, I'm going to be different and say Carlson because we know what expected this for Carlson. We all know McDavid's getting in and deserving of it.
Well,
Yeah.
that's just, you shouldn't even count McDavid in this.
Well,
Yeah,
if they're
but-
that good and you don't count it, what's the point?
It's the Shohei Ohtani effect in baseball as well. So it just is what it is. He's going to win it for the next 10 years.
Well, the next trophy is the Calder Memorial Trophy, given annually to the best rookie in the NHL, as voted on by the Professional Hockey Writers Association. Your nominees are Seattle Kraken, Matty Beniers, Buffalo Sabres, Owen Power, and Edmonton Oilers, Stuart Skinner. Oh my gosh, Jake Sanderson's not on here. That's what I knew you said.
He said it sarcastically, so it masked.
So
what I
it
meant, yeah.
Otherwise,
If I had
you would have
to,
actually said it properly if you didn't know.
Okay. In all fairness, if I had to give the trophy, I'd go, and if I had to like put my voting, I'd go Beniers, Sanderson, Power, and then McTavish, and then Skinner, whoever.
I don't think Skinner deserves to be nominated.
Same, but
Yeah.
But for me, it is Beniers, and then I think the two defensemen should have been after that.
Same with me, Beniers.
I'm going to go Beniers, but I think there was one person that Logan Thomas got hurt halfway through the year and was having like an incredible season.
I think he
Like,
falls
he was-
into the Skinner category for me, though. It wasn't that much better than what Skinner's numbers ended up being.
I thought he had like a 2.36 or something going when he got hurt.
Pretty sure it was like a 2.6,
Still not bad.
but I think that's around what Skinner's was. So, like, I don't think that they were that far apart. Regardless, like, I really don't think that like either of them is like more deserving than the two defensemen or even McTavish, to be honest.
Jake the Snake just slithering by. No one notices him.
All right, next
He's
one.
so good.
He is so good.
Next one.
Clay Thompson.
I didn't pick who.
Oh, sorry. Yes. What do you think?
Thank you.
Yeah, two
Mark
6'5".
Kastelik.
He had a 2.65, 915, which
All
is similar to Skinner's numbers.
The Jack Adams Award, given annually to the coach in the NHL who has contributed the most to his team's success, as voted on by the NHL Broadcasters Association. Dave Hackstall, Seattle Kraken, Jim Montgomery, Boston Bruins, and Lindy Ruff, the New Jersey Devils.
I think
so
this has to be Montgomery.
Yeah, I agree.
Like just
Historic season.
and like it's a great stories with Ruff and
Yeah,
Hackstall, but
I think if it wasn't that good of a season, then I think Ruff would have given me more of a run for that. But it's just no one really expected this team to be what they were. Like even like someone like Hampus Lindholm, he kind of just completely turned around his career going to Boston, and like.
and not to forget this was his first year there too.
Exactly. And I think Montgomery helped with that turnaround as well. And again, I said a lot about the defense for Allmark. I think that the defensive system under Montgomery is what really made the team as good as they were.
Okay, Montgomery's going to win, but I don't think he deserves it. I'm saying Hackstall.
He also said Boston was going to make playoffs, so there's a little bit of bitterness there.
No, I just feel like I know it's a regular season award, but like I don't think you can't go out of the first round and tell
Oh,
me
yeah,
that-
your argument is completely null then. Because like
No,
it is literally voted before the playoffs start.
Yeah, but like that's what I mean. I know it's for a regular season.
So you're just saying this because
I'm saying this because I find it annoying when people win these awards that don't do anything in the playoffs.
but that's why it's a regular season award.
I know, but it's like I just
So you think that Austin Matthews shouldn't have won his MVP last year because he didn't do anything in the playoffs?
precisely.
All right then.
Austin Matthews for Omar, 0-time MVP.
No, yeah, I
But that like
Because
I don't think
Because-
Matthews should have won either.
No, but it doesn't matter if you score 60 goals and then do nothing in the playoffs and go in the first
I
round.
see
It doesn't
McDavid
matter
last
if you
year.
have a historic season and then do nothing. The playoffs is where everything
I think
matters.
so McDavid last year.
Or Igor.
Or Igor.
Igor
I
should have
said-
won in my
I
opinion.
said Igor, yeah.
Yeah. Like,
I mean, the thing is, regardless,
Matthews sucks.
everything after game 82 is null. So
yeah.
for that, it is.
Jim Montgomery deserves it for a historic season. Did he do the best with his team? No, Hackstall.
That's not the question, though, is it?
I don't care.
You're just being.
Could
bitter.
Boston have made the playoffs with Elliot Coleman as their coach?
No.
Well,
Oh, you did make
Pucks
a
in
good coaching decision yesterday.
I did.
I don't know how much that really did. It was like 5 minutes left. I think the best coaching decision of that game was me benching myself. So
What was his decision?
we'll talk about it
anyways,
just in case.
yeah, Montgomery. Like, kind of have to.
Yeah,
I feel like a few of these, it's like, well, I don't really care, but like it's obvious who they're gonna pick.
Well, yeah, it's like the Bing and the whatchamacallit, Masterton.
The Frank J. Sufjan Award,
I hate this award.
the Frank J. Selke Trophy, given annually to the forward voted best to excel in the defensive aspects of the game, as voted on by the Professional Hockey Writers Association.
Did anyone hear two-way forward in that? No?
I'm
No?
surprised Josh Norris isn't
No?
nominated.
Okay. I have no opinion on this award. I don't care who wins.
Boston Bruins Patrice Bergeron, New Jersey Devils Nico Hischier, and Toronto Maple Leafs Mitchell Marner. Should we just get Omar's opinion out of the way?
Yeah, I'm going Marner.
Why?
Because he's a Leaf.
99-point season, and very good defensively.
Wait, where's the thing about points in that description?
Well,
Where's the thing about offense in that description?
it's not a two-way forward thing, is it?
It is. It is literally
Yeah.
that's what they give it as.
Yeah.
Though. That's the problem.
Yeah,
The best player who is good at defense?
I don't think.
Forward.
The best forward that is good
I
at
mean,
defense?
I feel like Bergeron is gonna win it. I think Marner is deserving.
I think of those three, it's Hischier that's deserving. But the thing is, I don't think that any of those three should be nominated on the merit of like just defense. I think Bergeron is technically the best defensively out of those three, but like in terms of last year and like who played best defensively out of those three, it was Hischier. Regardless, I want to see a fourth liner award of this trophy, bro. It's the defensive forward award. They literally make a whole category for these players.
Where is Nick Saint Denis?
Literally, diving blocks. I want to see Noah Cates there. He was the best defensive forward. That is who I'd give the trophy to. He actually isn't I think he's like top 6 or something like that, 7. So he did get consideration, but like he didn't score enough.
Who did you say?
Noah Cates. He didn't score enough points to be nominated for the best defensive forward award. So
For some reason, I feel like Marner's going to win, kind of like Matthews won. When, like, yeah, you could kind of say out of the three he should win, but does he really deserve it? No. But we're in a Toronto Maple Leaf world, and I feel like it's just going to happen.
Do you think Marner wins? Well, but out of the
I don't
three,
want him to win.
But out of the three, who do you think should win?
out of the three,
Instead of just saying
Bergeron.
Okay, Bergeron.
I think Marner will win though.
Yeah,
Just-
but I've been
it's
saying
going to be a
Marner will.
market thing. I
Yeah,
think.
I've been saying that, but I want to know what everyone thinks should win.
okay.
I would kind of go with Hischier.
Okay.
Out of those three, I think it should be Hischier. But like the thing is, I actually think it's gonna be Bergeron.
I think
I
it's
think
Bergeron.
they're gonna go
Yeah.
for the whole legacy thing
I
with
think
him.
they're going
So
for Bergeron in this one.
Because
Especially
his last year
and stuff. Yeah.
someone like Pavelski too has been like by definition a very good two-way forward and like being a top 3 and defense for forwards as well, and he hasn't even been like
Literally, so far this is the only award so far that could be in question who's going to win.
But that's because this award is never voted on based on merit. Because it's the same with the Norris, bro.
Yeah.
Norris, I said outright Carlson, even though he wasn't.
He wasn't traded outright for Carlson.
I didn't say that he was I didn't say he was necessarily the best defenseman. I just said that by how this award is based on.
That was for
It
you,
should be
Sens
Carlson.
fans.
Yeah.
And that's the same thing with this.
Yeah.
Best two-way forward, he should. No, Josh Norris.
That was kind of funny. Thanks. Next award, the Lady Byng Award, given annually to the player voted best to come. The next award is the Lady Byng Trophy, given annually to the player voted best to combine sportsmanship, gentlemanly conduct, and Do you want to read this one?
Sure.
It's the least penalties award. Just say that.
The Lady Byng Trophy is given annually to the player voted best to combine sportsmanship, gentlemanly conduct, and ability as voted on by the Professional Hockey Writers Association.
Essentially, me and ball hockey.
Your nominees are New Jersey Devils, Jack Hughes. I don't think he should win. I don't like TikTokers. Los Angeles Kings, Anze Kopitar. And Tampa Bay Lightning, Braden Point. Elliot, let's start with you.
Who cares?
Yeah, it's one that's just kind of like
Who took
it's
the
the
list?
sportsmanship award. Like,
Who took the least amount of penalty
Yeah.
minutes? Pick them. That's literally it.
I'll probably go with Kopitar. It's normally given to someone who's a bit older.
Just add another trophy to the case.
Yeah,
There you go.
I'll just say that.
I'll say Hughes as the anti-Kopitar.
I'm gonna say Kopitar.
I'll say Kopitar as well.
Noah Cates.
Okay. The Jim Gregory General Manager of the Year Award. Presented annually since 2009-2010 to the general manager who is best excelled at his role during the regular season. It is voted only by the league's GMs and a panel of NHL executives and print and broadcast media after the second round of the Stanley Cup playoffs.
Oh. This actually takes playoffs into account.
Jim Nill of the Dallas Stars, Don Sweeney of the Boston Bruins, and Bill Zito of the Florida Panthers.
None.
I don't agree with any of them.
Yeah. I don't think.
I think it. You'd probably assume if it's voted after the second round of the playoffs, it's
Yeah.
going to be Zito.
Yeah.
But
I think he still could have done stuff to prevent what happened in the finals. I think that there was too many things that
No,
went.
he's gonna win. Like he has to.
Yeah,
win.
but I think that there was too many things that went right for them to get to the finals. So that's the
But
problem with
he's
it.
gonna win because of the Kachuk trade and how Kachuk was in the playoffs himself.
and then the guys that he brought in though too. He brought in Mark Stahl. He brought in
Mark Stahl was
No,
one of
you
the
don't-
reasons
you
they
don't-
lost in the
Stahl.
finals, bro.
But
I don't think
we're
he
talking
gets
about
ring install people.
we're talking about though after the second round or before the second round.
He still was
After the second
but
round.
Stahl was still getting exposed at the time.
He also
so
brought
less.
in Eric Stahl.
Eric Stahl, Nick Cousins.
These are all players that
Jared
didn't
Stahl.
really impact
Nick
the
Cousins
team.
scored 2 game-winning series goals.
I did too.
Evan Stahl.
Like, what does that mean? Chell, I scored a series-winning goal.
Yeah, and
Exactly,
GM should get some good credit for that.
which is you. Technically,
Nick Cousins wasn't relevant before this year.
he still isn't. Oh, I don't know.
So I don't know. Nick Cousins, I agree with Elliott, but like I don't agree with like Stahl. I don't think Stahl made an impact that is of any worthwhile to talk about. And I don't think. But yeah, I do think he's gonna win.
Alex Lyon too.
Okay.
What did
He went on
would
a
you
run
say
to get
then?
them to the playoffs.
Yeah,
You know what? Sure, Zito. I just think, honestly, as long as it isn't Don Sweeney, I think we're fine. Because he made like a ton of trades at the deadline to purposely, like, for them to get past the hump, and it did the opposite. So as long as he doesn't win it, that's all I care about.
No, I think it has to be Zito. He's gonna win as well.
But the problem is, like, I know it's after the second round of the playoffs, and that might hurt his chances. I wouldn't even be surprised if Sweeney ends up getting it, just based off the season itself or whatever, which sucks.
they brought in. Who did they bring in? They brought in Bertuzzi.
Orlov, Hathaway, and like if it's a whole season or whatever like that, there's other moves that had to be made before that too. Some re-signing Krejci, I guess.
I have a weird comment. Why do writers and broadcasters get to vote? I feel like it should be more like ex-players and stuff.
Fans.
No,
Yeah,
there'd be
there's
so many Leafs winners.
Yeah, Leafs and Habs and Rangers.
Like,
Bergevin
obviously
would
these
still
people-
have the GM of the year after like
Yeah.
he retired.
Some of these people like obviously know hockey, but like they wouldn't know hockey like
you can do alumni,
ex-players.
like alumni, yeah, Hall of Fame.
yeah.
Although that has kind of, yeah, I don't know.
But with
I don't know.
with how the game has changed, that's one
Sure.
thing. I think.
Yeah, that is true.
But
Like I don't think
They probably still have old writers and stuff like that too, though.
yeah,
And
half the broadcasters
Half
are
the-
like
you
should
think
be
Jack Edwards
in
isn't voting for John
retirement
Sweeney?
homes.
You think Jack Edwards isn't voting for John Sweeney, bro?
You don't think? You don't think?
Jack,
you don't
Jack Edwards voted definitely David Pastrnak for
For sure MVP.
You
Yeah.
don't think Omar didn't use his vote this year? Because you're old.
Yes, I figured that was the play there.
Jack Edwards picked Brad Marchand for the
So
Lady of Sportsmanship Award.
the Calder.
yeah.
All right, so we went with Zito. Next award being the King Clancy Memorial Trophy, given annually to the player who best exemplifies leadership qualities on and off the ice and has made a noteworthy humanitarian contribution in his community.
Who donated the most money?
The winner is chosen by select members of the Professional Hockey Writers Association and the NHL Broadcasters Association. Your nominees are Calgary Flames' Michael Backlund, New York Islanders' Anders Lee, and Edmonton Oilers' Darnell Nurse.
This is the one where it was like every team had to nominate one person or whatever, right?
For what? For sorry, what's the?
Why were you distracted?
He's putting on his name tag.
Yeah, I was just talking. I'm sorry. What are we on?
He's trying to be younger.
King Clancy, Backlund, Lee, Nurse.
Essentially,
What again?
charity.
Oh,
That's literally all it is.
It's probably going to be Nurse.
I think it's probably gonna be Lee, to be honest. I don't
who
know.
gave the most charity?
That's literally
It's
all
like
it
does
is.
stuff on and off the ice for
Yeah.
like.
Nurse makes.
It wasn't-
the most
wasn't
money,
Subban
I don't
nominated for
know
this?
who did the most of that. Isn't this just like a factual one? Like whoever did the most gets.
Go check their bank account. How much came out of it? Give it to that person.
I don't know. Yeah,
Because if it's
Okay,
like
we got a Nurse, we got a Lee. Why don't you go Backlund?
Backlund.
Sure.
Yeah.
You, who'd Ottawa nominate?
I think it was
Kachuk.
Kachuk.
Ours was Wilson. Who was Toronto's?
I don't know anything about this award.
Lafferty.
Lafferty, yeah.
Maybe Hall.
Did the most for the
literally don't
community.
know. I really don't know. It could be Tavares,
Sitting
I
out
guess.
games.
Oh, it might have been Tavares, actually.
Could be Tavares.
That would make sense, to be fair. I don't know.
Matthews.
He's too busy spending time
I'll
with
go
Justin
with
Bieber.
Darnell. Why not? All right. The Bill Masterton Memorial Trophy. Given annually to the NHL player voted to best exemplify the qualities of perseverance, sportsmanship, and dedication to hockey as voted on by the members of the Professional Hockey Writers Association. Your nominees are from your Arizona Coyotes, Clayton Keller. That's Sufi's vote.
Mhm.
From your Pittsburgh Penguins, Christopher Letting. And from your Chicago Blackhawks, Alex Stalock.
This is just comeback player of the year,
Thanks.
essentially, yeah. I mean, Keller's injury was really bad. I don't know if you remember seeing that. It was near the end of last year, where he just like crashed. You remember Kevin Fiala's like fibula injury, where his legs went that way? It was the same thing. So coming back from that and have the season he had is pretty sick. But like Chris Letang is a stroke like every year now, so
That's what I was gonna say.
him still playing is just like perseverance. He can win this like every year.
Yeah, I would go Letang.
Yeah.
Letang for me as well.
Same.
Great.
And
And
Stalock. Where did he come back from? He was in the NHL this year.
I feel like he had.
He had something big, probably.
Yeah, I feel like it was a.
But did he even play like a lot? Wasn't it Mrazek and like
He did play a lot.
I don't know who Chicago's goalies are, to be fair, bro. Watch it just be like
he had a heart condition.
so the same as Letang. My vote's Alex Stalock. Goalies union.
Nice. All right, and the last one.
Okay. don't worry about
Mark
this.
Messier NHL Leadership Award, given to the player who exemplifies great leadership qualities to his team on and off the ice during the regular season. Suggestions from nominees are solidified for fans clubs. My vote is Brady Kachuk.
Mine's Tom Wilson.
Wait, are there no nominees?
It's literally just I think they literally
Say a player.
yeah, just say a player. Just say a player on your team. Screw
Austin
it.
Matthews.
Oh god.
I go Brady Kachuk.
Yeah, winner. Gagnon.
If he picked someone that I actually liked, then I would have tagged along, but leadership?
I don't care. I don't know what the award was.
All right, wait, guys. It's stat game time. And you know what we have that's a little different? A guest that is special. And he's going to host this for us. He's handpicked this stat for us.
He used a piece of paper and a
So I'm
pencil.
going to jump in the
didn't.
corner so we can all little discuss.
No, don't jump in the corner.
No, I'm
Stay
go-
where you are.
I'm-
I'm going to jump in the corner.
I'm jumping in the
Why would you
corner.
jump in the corner when I can jump in the
So we can have a little L-shaped
No,
little
I'm
TBQ.
comfortable where
hot
I am.
goss
No, it's
corner.
not happening.
Come over here.
All right.
Don't get cross-legged, bro.
I'm ready.
So your question today is
Why do we need to get closer? We're sitting right next to each other.
Exactly.
Okay, go.
how many people, so speaking of awards, we'll be going with an award question.
Okay.
How many people have won multiple MVPs? And if you can name them, that'd be amazing as well.
How many are there?
How many people have? When you say multiple MVPs, what do you mean? Just like how many people have won more than
Multiple
one?
Hart
Yes,
trophies.
That's it.
So we're just
multiple
we're naming
trophies.
how many and how many there are.
Yeah.
Or as many as we can.
So can we just name them and you tell them if they're right?
Yes.
Okay.
Connor McDavid.
Yes.
Yes.
Sidney Crosby.
Ovechkin.
Yes. And Yes, Ovechkin has 3. And then
I
McDavid
know
and
this.
Crosby both have 2.
Okay. I'm gonna assume
Kane has 1. Price
Bobby
has 1.
Orr.
Bobby Orr has 3.
Yeah.
Wayne Gretzky.
Wayne Gretzky.
Wayne Gretzky has 9.
Yeah.
Should we say Lemieux?
Mario
Lemieux does for sure.
Lemieux has 3.
How about
Yogs.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Ooh.
That's a
Who?
tough one though. He played in an era with like some guys.
Jaromir. Wait, it's not a guess.
It's
But
it's
we're
multiple, just 2, right, or more.
2 or more.
I would
Yogs
say-
gotta be on there.
Yager's gotta be on there.
Yager
Yager is not on there.
at all?
How many strikes do we have?
We'll go 5.
Oh,
How about
sick.
Phil Esposito?
He played
Probably.
in the Bobby Orr era though.
Phil Esposito has 2.
Okay.
Oh,
Stan Mikita,
He has 2 as well.
Bobby Hull.
He has 2 as well.
Okay.
I think there's a lot of good players there. Steve Eiserman?
whoa.
No.
No.
Okay, no, never mind.
I don't know.
Okay, I'm sorry.
I don't know what if we just say a name, he seems like he's taking it.
What
so.
about? I think.
It could be Eiserman.
Pete Forsberg?
No.
Joe
I
Sakic.
think he only had 1.
Joe Sakic?
Sakic maybe.
Timo Solani?
Ooh, no.
Lidstrom.
Lidstrom. No.
That's Luke, no, right?
Actually, I don't think Eiserman's a bad guess, but Matt Sundin. No.
No. Alfie and Dean, these guys didn't have it.
Did like an Islander win
I was thinking Trottier or Bossy, but maybe
or a
Bossy.
goalie?
Goalies.
Did Brodeur win?
No.
Has Price more than one Vezina?
He only has 1 MVP. Patrick Waugh, I think, has 1, maybe 2. Brett Hull,
I have no idea. I feel like there's a lot of people. It's gonna be like
Beliveau,
Beliveau has 2.
Should we just guess Eiserman too?
sure. We have strikes.
Yzerman.
Strike number 2.
Oh,
Does he have any?
Does he have any?
He must. You'll search it.
Maybe Shanahan.
Morris Richard,
Oh, probably.
Lafleur.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
should as well.
Gordie Howe.
Did Daryl
Gordo.
Sittler have a lot? More
I don't think so. I don't think Leaf players win MVPs very often, to be honest,
Or they shouldn't.
or cups.
Yeah.
Sorry, bro.
Who else was there in like
Curtis Joseph,
I don't think so. Evan Belfour.
Marty Turco, Mike
Patrick Kane hasn't
Adano.
won it all, right?
He won 1.
One, okay.
St. Louis, LeCavalier,
Stamkos,
Heatley.
Kucherov, no.
Alfredson.
He has not won a Hart Trophy, Steve Eiserman.
Damn.
Wow.
He has a Ted Lindsay.
Oh, this is a trivia question that I've seen. My
How
bad.
about thing?
Richard Morris?
Yeah, him, sure, but I was saying Gordie Howe as well.
Both of those. He
Yeah.
said
Maurice Richard.
Maurice.
Maurice Richard is not on that list.
Oh.
Gordo.
Gordie Howe
Gordie Howe.
is. Gordie Howe is 2 with 6.
Damn, he has
So we
to.
have 3 strikes now.
That
Yeah, you got 3 strikes. You're still missing. So there's one person that has 4.
Jesus.
You have one person with 3, and then the rest are 2.
Marcel Dion, maybe.
Dion Phenom.
I will tell you right now that the farthest, like the most recent one, is in the late 90s.
Messier? I
Mm,
don't know. I'm just naming big people.
Bure.
Did we say Solani?
Hasek.
Hasek, yeah.
Let's go.
Nice.
Hasek won back to back.
Yeah, that was the 90s. I'm proud of myself.
That was a good one. I wasn't thinking Hasek at all.
This is what's going to help me in law school.
Silverberg?
So
Bobby Ryan.
Bobby Ryan.
Stephen
So we're
Mason?
going older. Dion?
Enough. Marcel.
No.
Strike.
Thanks for wasting our guesses.
Bro, you've been saying guys like Silverberg. Okay, so it's older than Hasek. Right? That makes sense.
Are we looking at like 87 or 70s?
Oh,
Did we say Bossy or Trottier?
No, we didn't.
The one that has 4 was in the 30s.
Oh,
Christ.
Frank Finnegan.
even I
Denny.
wasn't born then.
Is it Cy Denny or Howie Morenz? Or
I don't know.
I know these names. Cy Denny, Denny, Howie Morenz, Eddie Shore, Sile Apps. Is it any of those guys? I don't know.
Just say one of them. Denny.
Who?
Denny, whatever.
Does his name start with Cy?
No.
Howie
Like
Morenz.
the Gangnam Style guy?
No, SC.
Well, your stat has come to an end with
we're gonna.
Dennin's guess there.
I know. We still have to we're just gonna guess and then.
Yeah. So
Morenz.
Morenz has 3.
Oh,
Damn, I should have said Morenz.
Yeah.
Shore.
Eddie Shore has 4.
Oh, so it's the other guys that I said.
Yeah.
Like, what? I'm surprised I even knew those people.
There's 19 total.
Okay.
You guys did say Bobby Clark, right?
no.
Bobby Clark.
Yeah, Bobby Clark is
Okay.
there.
That we should have got. To be fair,
Nels Stewart,
no idea who that is.
Bill Cowley,
No idea who that is.
Guy Lafleur.
You don't remember these
Did we
guys?
say Lafleur?
Lafleur.
We
We
said
didn't
say
guess
Lafleur.
it though. You were just throwing it out.
Oh.
It was when you were in your
I thought we guessed
Iserman
it.
phase.
No,
Also,
man.
Mark Messier has 2.
Oh, you stupid idiots!
That's the only one that you get.
And that's-
You also could have just said it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know, but I'm too scared.
Why?
Because you intimidate me.
Okay, well,
Mark
we-
Messier
Okay,
won
what's
2 in
about
3
this?
years.
We did pretty well.
I said,
Mark
but,
Messier won 2
hey, I got
in 3
Hasek.
years.
That's all I really care about.
Yeah. We did well. Okay.
We got all the
That was a
recent.
good- that was a good
We got all the.
start.
We got all the recent ones, which is
Yeah.
important.
But how recent McDavid was? You got the
McDavid, Ovechkin, Crosby, Hasek, I guess.
yeah, but that's 4. Like out of 19.
Yeah. So I was saying names from guys in the night. I just named 5 players from the 1930s. Bro, that's good enough.
Yeah.
Sile
I know
Apps died in
5 guys from the 1930s.
Sporkle.
How do you not know?
Do you know who Sile Apps
I
is,
said
bro?
that's even before even I was born.
Sile Apps died in a plane crash, or in World War II. I can't remember which one.
It could be both.
It could be both.
Rest in peace.
Tim Horton. He was actually a good player.
I thought about him, but I was like, there's no way he has any.
He's the MVP of Canada.
Yeah, honestly.
All right.
All right.
Next up.
So we can talk about some of the moves or potential moves that have been speculating on Twitter. I'll give you each a topic, and you can bring it up with the class. Okay?
Sounds good.
You can talk about the St. Louis, Philadelphia one. You can talk about the LA and Winnipeg one,
Give me Tom Wilson.
and you can talk about the Ottawa Senators one.
Wait, what's the Sens one?
All of them.
All right, I'll start. We have the
The one we care about the least, to be honest.
yeah. Let's get it out of the way.
St. Louis, Philly.
The St. Louis Philly, interesting trade, which doesn't seem like it's gonna go through anymore. I think it's officially probably done actually. But
Nice. So we're talking about it anyway.
yeah, I don't know if it's officially like scratched, but anyway, it was supposed to be a pretty big deal. Kevin Hayes going over to the Blues, and then Torrey Krug, among other players, going to Philly. Stash also going to Columbus. I mean, not Columbus, Blues. And
Close.
then Torrey Krug ends up not waiving his no trade clause. I guess he doesn't want to go to Philly or whatever his destination was eventually going to be if Philly wasn't the final spot. But I guess he's happy in St. Louis or something. I don't know, the murder capital of the states
Nice.
or the crime capital of the states, whatever it is.
The thing, I don't know. I guess St. Louis has a better outlook than Philly does, I guess. But also, I don't know why they would trade for someone like Hayes at his cap hit. There must have been a incredible salary retention. Although I guess Krug,
It would have been Krug.
Krug
Krug
going
was the
back.
money going back.
yeah. But even then, it's just a weird, because they got a decently deep forward core, albeit unspectacular. But I don't think Hayes would have added that much to that, if anything.
One of us.
I think subtracting Krug
Yeah.
would have actually hurt them more than adding Hayes in the scale of things.
Yeah.
But in the end, I genuinely couldn't care less if this went through or not.
Let's go to the next one.
I think it's good for him, standing up for just
Yeah, I mean, you don't want to go playing
he
especially what
doesn't.
happened to Carlson.
Philly's a nice hockey
He's
team,
also
though.
32 years old
With torts?
with a family. He doesn't want to uproot them, especially if he doesn't know where he's going next.
Yeah, there's too much uncertainty.
And you're playing for a John Tortorella,
Mhm.
who's notorious for being hard on his players.
Was Krug on the Blues winning team?
No, he was not.
Okay, so he still wants to win. I guess.
Petrangelo left, Krug went right after.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense.
But
You still
it was
looking to
something that, like, I saw something today that St. Louis has 8 guys on no movement clauses. And, like, I don't know how you're able to.
Who is that though? Shen, not Tarasenko. Oh my god, Thomas maybe, and Kyrou.
Maybe Bennington.
Bennington. No, jeez.
Fantastic goalie.
Parayko.
They're in like a purgatory with like cap.
Yeah.
It's similar to what happened in San Jose, to be honest. Where it's just like a bunch of Met players on massive deals. Like Thomas and Kyrie were sick players and like on good deals, but then like after that, it's concerning.
Ugly.
Yeah. Bennington especially. That's like
Charlie Rosen.
They traded the wrong goalie, but I guess they didn't have a choice. Anyways, Dubois is maybe going to LA, maybe not. Who knows? There's too many things happening. The return, Velarde, Iafallo plus. The plus hasn't been stated yet because this isn't a done deal yet. If it even happens. But it would be a sign and trade, they said. So Dubois finally gets to leave and sign a long-term contract somewhere. But it's not the place that we all thought he was going to go, I guess.
Well,
it is.
still good.
It's still LA as a city better than Winnipeg and Columbus combined. So fair enough. Well, for him anyways, clearly. But I know Evan is not the biggest fan of his wanting to leave everywhere. So he may have more of an opinion on this.
I like the Jets. I am scared of Winnipeg. That's all I have to add.
I like Velarde as a player. He's young.
He had
he's a very good defensive center. And he had 23 goals.
He had 3 goals less than Dubois last year.
Yeah, in 60 games or something like
that.
Yeah. So like he's not a bad player and good.
If that's your starting point, that's not bad.
Yeah.
And if
Iafallo was like a good third line guy,
especially if you can flip him at the deadline, because Winnipeg would obviously
Winnipeg's looking to offload. Yeah, like a lot.
Start to turn things around. It
sucks for franchises like that though, where like players don't necessarily want to go. Their rebuilds end up being like quite a bit longer. And I can see what you guys said about Columbus. Similar thing happening with Winnipeg, where they have to kind of like force feed guys into long contracts, even if they're like mid-tier players. I could see that coming for them at some point in the near future. I don't know who's going to stay out of the guys that are already there, though.
But if you got the Velarde, if you got that return for Dubois, I'd be happy with that. Like for Winnipeg, that's
solid return.
And you'd obviously hope there's a deal in place for Velarde as well, because he's a restricted free agent right now.
Yeah, that would sign and trade both ways. The thing is, like, I think it'll take a lot less to sign him than Dubois. Yeah, makes sense. Anyways,
and Elliott's trade.
Wait,
yours isn't.
I have one.
Though, speculation.
Taylor Hall to Chicago.
We got to talk about Taylor Hall to Chicago
for essentially nothing.
They got
rights to Ian Mitchell and restricted or unrestricted free agent rights to Nick Foligno.
You know what's so Jay Fresh posted Ian Mitchell's player card, and he was in the 0th percentile, but he was like, the caption was, Ian Mitchell is one of the 1,000th best NHL players in the league in the world, which is fair.
It's a good move for Chicago, especially if he's in you just finished year 2 of his contract.
It's a good enough number, and I don't think the numbers really matter for them right now.
Yeah. I think as well you can look at them, especially they won't be ready next year to compete. So
won't be ready for a little bit, yeah.
They can move him again at the deadline to a contending team, take some salary back for it.
Poor Taylor Hall.
Yeah.
Getting bumped around everywhere.
Yeah,
also,
he said he just wants to win.
So bizarre that some players Taylor Hall's not MVP Taylor Hall anymore, but like Taylor Hall is like still a pretty solid player, and he's going like some guys just get traded for absolutely nothing, and then other guys in like a different situation are getting traded for like multiple firsts,
And now-
prospects.
It's just different times of the
Yeah.
year, right? Like
Yeah.
It's crazy.
at this point in the year, like Hall, they couldn't trade at the deadline to the Bruins because they needed him for the playoffs, and now they're in a place where they need cap space more than they need to win games because of the offseason. So that's pretty much the only real change that happens.
You'll probably see now what Boston does with that extra $6 million, though, because that's
Centers.
Shane
yeah,
Pinto.
yeah. Because like
I think you still have to move one, because I think I was looking at it a couple weeks ago, but they only had like $7 million to begin with to get like it was like 6 roster players or something like that, and
but Bergeron and Krejci are both likely retiring.
and that's why
Yeah.
they only had 7 guys under 7 forwards under contract going into next season, and
It sucked because I was writing an article on
Now it's
off-season
6.
needs, and this trade happened, and now it just messes up my whole thing. So I'm not doing that anymore.
Yeah.
That's great.
you wonder what they'll do with Swayman now too, if that extra
That's
$6 million
Yeah,
is there. Do you sign Swayman and then keep Allmark for the 2 years, but then
they can't do that. Like
because
take
Swayman
him out of the nominations if he does that.
Swayman would probably demand at least $4 million.
Yeah,
By the
I
goalie
would
market,
think
yeah, likely.
so.
So you're paying your 2 goalies $9 million, which actually isn't that bad, but it's not the greatest.
There's tandems that are $6 million that are good though. Like I
Yeah.
think you can live with that. Like $9 million is a lot for 2 goalies, especially when you have holes. Like if
and
it was fine for them last year because they didn't have they had Bergeron and Krejci on cheap contracts.
I would love if Boston
Evan has ADHD.
called Pierre Dorion and said, "Do you want Jeremy Swayman?" But
I highly doubt it's going to happen.
yeah,
That was a rude
'Cause-
comment to throw in there.
because with him being an RFA and probably getting, I've seen it between 4 and 4.5 mil.
DeBrinket's Swayman deal.
To Bunkwit.
That's the
RFA,
second
And
round.
then flip him back
That's
to
a
Chicago.
second. That's a
Yeah.
second round pick in the RFA compensation. Is a second.
That's fair.
So I think a team will be able to beat that easily for Swayman,
Mm-hmm.
but there obviously has to be a trade or
Yeah.
like a sign in there as well.
Before we get to Ottawa, I'm just gonna say I did see a lot of stuff on it seems pretty imminent that Detroit is like the place that DeBrincat is gonna go, and there's very little discussion like outside of that from what I'm seeing. So, like, what would you guys say is a good return from Detroit, assuming he signs a deal there, which apparently he wants to. So, because I just don't think like Raymond. I think that's like a little out of the question. I'm saying like that's my thing.
I think you have to get. You won't get 9, but
Yeah.
you might get 17, or you probably definitely need 17 in it.
Yeah.
Um.
They have 2 picks.
Oh, I thought you were saying
just
jersey
not
numbers.
players'
I was like,
numbers.
Moronic?
They have 9 and 17.
You know who would be great? Edvinson.
That's a lot. You're not getting 17 and Edvidson.
What? I'm not saying
Whoa,
they
whoa.
would, but I think it could be a prospect 17 and maybe a third.
Or if you do want Edvinson, you can go prospect, lower pick, and go from there.
Yeah,
But
or like
seven-
Edvinson in a second.
Yeah,
Because
And then Ottawa could use whatever they do get to get something else.
Edvinson they should keep.
No,
Oh,
I know.
yeah,
I'm
no,
just
no,
saying,
no,
like,
no.
depending on
No,
what the
that's-
return is.
Yeah,
If you get that pick prospect.
but maybe
whatever.
honestly, Ottawa does want a first round pick this year because like this is the year to have a first round pick. 'Cause there's so many good players, right? Like this
But
is
it's
the
not
draft.
Imagine we got
until, like, the
Michkov
top.
at 9 or something.
This
would
there's no way that Mitchkov passed.
would you
Ovechkin.
do
I mean, Washington.
DeBrincat for 9 straight up?
I could see it happening to an extent. Like there's been deals like that in the past.
I just think
I just think it's tough to pull off. Like I don't know if that's going to be a thing, and especially at 9, like there's as many good players as there are. It's just which player is going to be at 9. Like there has to be a player that they really want.
Bedard.
Yeah,
and
Cov.
you could also see something where a third team comes into this,
Yeah, I think
That's
it
okay.
might be necessary.
because it could be a situation where Ottawa doesn't want to trade it in the division. and the same
But I
thing
don't know how
happened.
much does
with
that
what
matter right now. I don't think that I
Mike
haven't really seen
Hoffman.
that much. That was
I would love him
extenuating
at 13.
circumstances.
I would love Mike Hoffman at pick 13.
Hoffman not being dealt in the division seemed like extenuating circumstances. I think that was get him away as far from Carlson as much as possible.
Hey, both San Jose Sharks legends.
Yeah. I'm gonna bring up the Tom Wilson stuff myself so I can play defense. Some random Sens former defenseman that I didn't know about until today stated that apparently Washington wants to trade him to Ottawa. He is not anyone credible, so I would listen to Elliot Friedman. If he even said that like Ottawa wants to trade for Tom Wilson, it would make more sense. But he said Washington wants to trade Tom Wilson to Ottawa, which I was like, okay. Regardless, I've seen a lot of I think Kuznetsov ends up staying in Washington, and Mantha goes somewhere, maybe somewhere like Ottawa.
Mantha has to be the captain though somewhere.
Yeah,
that's at that point.
I could honestly see
the Mantha, Keller, and Schmaltz line tearing
or
it
the
up.
Mantha Bedard.
I was gonna say I could.
Oh my.
Chicago could end up coming in there because there isn't that much time left in his contract, and like they can handle the cap for like a little bit or for a
It's
while
also
actually.
Chicago, and
It's
they're
Chicago.
getting so much money now because of Connor Bedard. So
Exactly, so they can handle that for a little while, and honestly, at that point, I don't really care what we get from them for him. So, but like Kuznetsov, I wouldn't mind seeing him under like a different coach, and we go from there. So,
Would you even have wanted Taylor Hall in Washington?
by definition of what they're saying, like that they're going to bring into Washington as in like a younger top six forward, it just wouldn't have fit that. If they traded for him, I wouldn't have been like, that's horrible. Like if there was like another piece going the other way,
I thought you were sneezing.
if there was another piece going like the other way that was also money, like Mantha, then I'd just be happy with that. Like for me, more importantly for Washington is getting the young players in the lineup to see who's actually like worth keeping, because we haven't had anyone really get an opportunity the last couple of years with Laviolette. So whatever top six forward we do get, I hope he's younger, but if he isn't, if he's Taylor Hall caliber, I wouldn't hate it. Well, yeah.
Connor Garland.
I wouldn't mind that. Depends what we give up. But yeah.
Ovechkin's son.
what would you want for Wilson?
I think what I want.
Yeah, okay, let's say they
Yeah.
did hypothetically
Yeah.
trade him to Ottawa. What do you think's a fair return?
It's hard to gauge, bro. No.
Norris?
I think it'd be like Pinto. I think it'd be Pinto and like
Tyler Boucher would probably get thrown in there somewhere.
Kill Me Now.
I know, but like
Nikita
maybe.
Sykes.
For me, I think it would be like, it wouldn't be that, like, I think other Caps fans are like, first round pick or we torch Brian McKellen's house. Which I get the sentiment because I love him too, but realistically, I'd
Brian
be
McKellen?
like, no. Him, I don't mind, but it's like I hated Laviolette more, so it's fine. Which I want to touch on something after that is just, I would say like Pinto in like a second or third, and then maybe like a pick or something, or another pick later, but anything more than that would be a little overkill.
All right.
Um,
Let's talk about Peter Laviolette.
Yeah. So, but what McClellan did last year to counteract a bit of what Laviolette was doing with the young players was he just tried to trade away like all of our 1 or 2 male veterans that were just like taking over spots in the
Can I
lineup.
clear your throat?
No,
Yeah, I noticed it was raspy.
I was going for the whole sultry thing.
I don't know how many guys want that when they're listening to a hockey pod.
That's good.
But yeah, that's why when someone like it was raspy again.
you okay?
Yeah, I'm good.
Oh, there we go.
That's why when
Sophie's back.
when Gustafson got traded and Alexiev got a chance.
Sorry, guys, that was doofy.
Yeah. when and Alexiev got a chance, he proved that he should have been in the lineup the entire year. And Dmitry Orlov literally said himself, like, he was like, he didn't like that Laviolette didn't play Alexiev enough, and like he just had him sitting the whole time. Oh my god.
She's
What?
I'm kind of shitting.
No, she's peeing, it sounds like.
You can tell.
'Cause I
You
can
can probably hear it on the mic.
There's our background noise.
Cat piss ASMR.
Great.
Mm.
But yeah, like I want to see someone like Lucas Johansson get a chance next year too. He was great in the Calder Cup run.
Ryan Johansson got traded.
Great segue.
Yes.
Speaking of
This is
Johansson's,
true.
I think it's a great move for Colorado, in my opinion, because they literally give up Alex Galchenyuk
Yeah.
I don't even know
for
who's-
Ryan Johansson, who a season ago had 63 points and like 26 goals at $4 million. If he was a free agent right now, he would have gotten more than $4 million.
Yes. No, it's a no.
Unless he went somewhere cheap to win.
Yeah.
It's less like
How much money is still on his deal? Isn't it like 5 or 6, 5 years?
bro.
or something?
He's getting, but they retained half, wasn't
I
it?
know. That's
So,
a lot of money
that
Nashville's paying
wasn't
for.
5
I
years.
know, just for
I
him.
thought it was like 3 or 4.
He signed an 8x8.
It was an 8x8. It was an
Yeah,
8x8.
but that was a while ago.
No, but that's the contract that they just traded. It was an 8x8. So right now it's like a 4 for them.
Yeah, I said a 3 or 4.
Yeah, but then, so it was 8x8, and now they're getting him for $4 million. Realistically, it isn't. There's very little risk associated with this for Colorado. Like if he doesn't work out, it's not the end of the world. And the one hole that it did have last year was second line center. So I don't think I think he can easily fill that role. He was playing first line center in Nashville for a long time.
His contract is up after next season.
That's
so
perfect.
like after 2020, 2024, 2025.
That's a good
So
timeline
they have
because then you have
2
like
years.
you have like Newhook and stuff that can hopefully develop for them. But yeah, it's not a bad deal. Galchenyuk also is just hilarious. I have no idea that he's still like all.
Yeah, I was like, what? I thought he was in like the KHL or something.
I remembered him being there, and I was just like, I didn't know that they still had his rights. Oh well. Zach Fucali signed in the KHL.
Wow.
1 year, 500,000.
Wow.
Good money.
It's pretty
All right,
crazy.
what do we have up next?
Zach
Well,
Fucali.
we could talk about this a little bit more next episode because we'll know some more details, and
Yeah.
I'm sure lots of stuff happened. But the draft is also coming up.
Yes.
Who do we think's going number 1?
I don't know actually.
Leo Carlson.
Obviously, Bedard's going to go number 1 to Chicago. So it'll be an interesting week with the awards. With the, I'm sure tons of moves are going to happen up until draft day, even after. So we'll probably come out with a free agency / draft episode.
Hopefully.
Before, where do you think Mitch Cobb goes?
That honestly, that's what's messing up everyone's mock drafts right now. Because that's like
Yeah.
it determines where everyone else goes. I've seen him at 2. I've seen him at 10. I've seen him at 8. The thing is, like, if he falls to the Caps, he's not falling any further.
No.
I think that the 2 teams in front of him that I can kind of see him going to are San Jose and Montreal.
I think San Jose would be a perfect fit.
I think San Jose
It's
could
going to be
yeah.
bad for a little bit. They can let
Yeah.
him do his thing, and then he comes in and he's a elite player.
Yeah.
But the only team that I could see him coming out of his contract for is Washington, and that's pretty much just because of Ovechkin.
Oh,
Not Kuznetsov.
Not Kuznetsov. Maybe it depends how well they know each other, but
I think Provorov could bring him to Columbus.
don't know. But he trained with Ovechkin in the offseason, though. That's why I'm saying that, which was a hilarious picture because he's like tiny compared to him, but apparently they compare him to like Kucherov more than anyone else. So Kucherov is
Lazy?
small. No, Stanley Cup winner, MVP, etc. Great player. Phil Kessel. All right.
I actually,
There's so much draft talk with Ottawa because they don't have any freaking picks in the first round.
Yeah.
It's weird.
Leafs have what, 29th? 28th?
so my head
They
to
definitely
head,
don't have 32.
Yeah. No.
my head to head, unless there's anything else you'd like to add, it's a draft one.
Oh,
And I'm going to ask you, who do you think has a better NHL career? Adam Fantilli or Michkov? Because Fantilli may play more years in the NHL. Depending on where he goes, he might play immediately. But Michkov, he has like 3 or 4 years left in the KHL. Maybe he comes, he likes it for a bit, and he just wants to go back kind of like Kovalchuk or something. I just don't know. And
yeah, it's 2026. So it's 2
after this one,
Yeah.
So my question to you guys is just who would you, if you had to predict which player will have a better NHL career, who are you leaning towards?
Who are you going to first?
And we'll start with our special guest.
I'm going to factor in a bit of team as well into this because Fantilli's going to go 2. I think we have a rough idea that will happen. Just with their rebuild, I don't think they can wait on Michkov.
Who's got second pick again?
Anaheim.
Yeah.
I think it will be Fantilli. I think there's just so much unknown with Michkov that what if he does get drafted by, like, let's say, I don't know, Montreal or something, and doesn't even want to come over to Canada even to begin with. I think it's a lot easier to bring someone to the US rather than Canada because that's where all the money is. It's nicer destinations.
I do think they'll discuss that before, though. He does have the thing with the interviews changed now. I think he does have interviews scheduled with teams.
Yeah,
but it's only the teams that he wants to go to.
Yeah,
so hopefully another team drafts him.
But I do think that Fantilli will play more games. I think not playing against the best competition in the world will have an effect on him. Michkov, at least. And Fantilli has been playing against has been in North America playing that style of game for his life.
I mean, Michkov's playing in the KHL versus Fantilli in college. I think that Michkov's playing harder players.
I do think that, but at least like
are you talking like World Juniors?
I guess saying over the next couple of years.
Yeah, and as well, like over the next couple of years, as well as with how Fantilli has been playing the North American style game, where Michkov has been playing more of a European style game.
Is that really I don't know how much of an effect that has on Russian players, though. I feel like it's more of a thing with like Swedish and Finnish players. I mean, Austin Matthews played in Switzerland before he came to America, right? So
I'm gonna go.
That's
Fantilli.
Expensive.
Yeah,
I'm gonna go Fantilli as well.
Okay, why?
Yeah. I the team. It's the team factor as well. I think he'll have a lot. I think he'll have a decent amount of success at Anaheim, especially playing with the Seekers and stuff.
You?
I don't know. I feel like Michkov is the more elite talent. So even if, like, let's say Fantilli played 1,100 games or something, like being generous, and Michkov played like 800. Like, Michkov could have like 950 points, and so could Fantilli. Like, I just don't know how it's going to play out. So, NHL career-wise, I think Michkov, when he's in the NHL, has the potential to influence a team more. But like you said, it's so up in the air, like what's going to happen. So I would say Michkov, assuming that he will play for a long time in the NHL, regardless. It may not be as long as Fantilli, but I could be totally wrong.
We all could be totally wrong.
Yeah, neither of them could be NHL players.
Yeah.
Sure.
The thing is, like, I do agree with like pretty much everything you guys are saying, minus the level of competition thing. But I think you mean like in the next couple of years, Fantilli's going to be playing against those guys, which makes sense. But like, whenever Michkov does come here, I think it's either going to be like a Kucherov type situation, or a Kaprizov type situation, where he just like comes here, flourishes, and is just like here for however long Kaprizov is now signed for. Or it ends up being like Datsuk, where he comes late, plays 800 games, is insane, like Hall of Fame level talent, and then leaves and just finishes the last part of his career there. In saying that, I think his ceiling is like is quite a bit higher than Fantilli's. I think that the floor for Fantilli and Michkov is kind of similar, but just like in a skill set point of view, like I don't know. I just think that Michkov has a little bit more to offer than Fantilli does, in terms of just like elite play. But I don't think it's gonna be that far off, to be honest. In the end,
I think another big conversation with it, like, who knows what's happening in 2 years down the road? Like, realistically, we don't know.
Yeah.
That's on a political level, as what I'm saying too.
But that's it's hard to factor those things in right now. And like, I think if Michkov does go to a team that has Russian pull, it'll do a lot better for his career than any other team in terms of like how he's in the NHL.
Pull.
Because he has stated that he wants to play in the NHL. It's just even though he said that, people are still very uncertain about it. So the thing is, like, with all this uncertainty around him, the fact that he's still projected to go as high as he is says a lot. Other guys that had the uncertainty, they weren't even like considered in the first or second round. But there's teams that aren't afraid to take those guys in the first round. Those teams are teams like Washington. Kuznetsov was signed for 3 years, and they dropped him 23rd, and they had no problem bringing him over when he was ready to come. Pause.
I wasn't even thinking about that.
I was apparently. But yeah. I don't know. I'm excited to see what happens. There's a lot of Ovechkin comparisons to Michkov, which is a little tough on him because the thing is, like, the point total with him too in the KHL, what's crazy is that, like, when he was playing on I think it was St. Petersburg or Dynamo or whatever, whichever big team he was on, he was playing like 5-6 minutes a game, and then he got loaned to like one of the worst teams in the league, and he just went off because he was getting a ton of ice time. And even with those two teams combined, the same level of games, he only finished like 3 points off of Ovechkin's pace at the same age level and like in his draft year or whatever. So if he played the entire season on Sochi, who knows if he might have even like tied him or had more points than him. So I think that the potential is there, and I think that, like, if Michkov plays 1,000 games, I think he's going to end up being like Hall of Fame level talent, or like it'll be more of a discussion of Michkov Bedard than Michkov Fantilli if Michkov plays a good amount of time in the NHL.
You saying Sochi reminded me of the Sonic and Mario Winter Olympic Games or whatever. That video game? That was great.
Because, like, even like a year ago, more of the discussion was around Michkov and Bedard, not Michkov and Fantilli. It was pretty much just because Michkov didn't go to the World Juniors both times because of the Russia stuff that was happening. So, literally, if Michkov was born somewhere else, I don't even think we'd be having this discussion.
Okay, so we got split.
Yeah.
Fantilli, and Michkov.
Oh, we agreed.
I'm going to kill myself.
Well, everyone, thank you for tuning into the episode. That was a pretty, I'd say, like, action-packed. Lots of stuff to talk about. And well, lots more stuff to talk about regarding the draft, probably moves before and after, and free agent signings. So
right in time for the award show, actually. It's 8:02.
Exactly. So thank you, everyone, for tuning in once again. We would like to thank Elliot for joining. I think you added a lot of really good points. You gave me some pointers throughout, and Sufi obviously enjoyed chatting with you as well. Omar probably fell asleep because he's old.
It was just me and Coleman for like 10 minutes there.
And yeah, we would love to have you on again sometime.
Oh, I'd love to come back again.
And where can people listen to us?
On Amazon Music, Google Podcasts, Spotify,
Stitcher,
iHeartRadio, SiriusXM, YouTube as usual, and Google Podcasts. And follow us on
Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at The Unfortunate Diehards.
You say
Take
YouTube?
care, guys. YouTube, of course.
Yes,
YouTube. Yeah, YouTube, of course.
Yes.
Yeah, I didn't say YouTube.
Yes. And enjoy the awards.